The Galactic Council's verdict echoed through the crystalline chambers of Station Nexus, each word falling like a death knell upon the human delegation. Ambassador Sarah Chen stood motionless, as the holographic displays around her pulsed with alien script, translating the pronouncement into cold, clinical terms. Species classification Homo sapiens. Status obsolete. Recommendation: immediate cessation of interstellar privileges, effective immediately. The Vorthak counselor's tentacles writhed with what humans had learned to recognize as satisfaction. Your species has served its purpose, the creature's translator droned. You were useful as laborers, as soldiers in the Outer Rim conflicts. But evolution does not wait for sentiment. Chen's jaw tightened. Around the council chamber, representatives from 47 species watched with varying degrees of indifference. The sleek Andromedans with their perfectly engineered genetics. The Zephyrians, their consciousness distributed across quantum networks. The ancient keepers, who had transcended physical form millennia ago. All of them had evolved beyond their original biological constraints. All except humanity. We've brought this matter to vote, announced the Zephyrian collective, their voice, a harmonic blend of 1,000 minds. Species that cannot adapt to the new paradigm cannot participate in galactic governance. The resources allocated to maintaining human colonies would be better utilized elsewhere. The vote was swift and merciless. 38 in favor, 7 abstentions, 2 against. Only the young Corvin Republic and the enigmatic Wanderers had supported humanity's continued membership. As the session concluded, Chen activated her quantum communicator with steady fingers. Control, this is Ambassador Chen. Execute Protocol 77 Alpha. Authorization, Chen Sigma 997. The response crackled back from Earth. Confirmed, Ambassador. Initiating Lazarus Protocol. All human vessels are to return to Sol System immediately. Message relayed to all colonies and stations. What the Council didn't understand, what they had never bothered to learn, was that humans had always been excellent students. For the past century, since first contact, humanity had been absorbing, cataloging, and reverse engineering everything they encountered. The Andromedans thought their genetic templates were secure. The Zephyrians believed their quantum consciousness technology was beyond human comprehension. The Keepers assumed their energy manipulation techniques were too advanced for biological minds. They were all catastrophically wrong. Dr. Elena Vasquez stood in the deepest levels of Lunabase, watching banks of quantum processors that shouldn't have existed. Officially, humans hadn't developed quantum consciousness integration. Officially, they were still struggling with basic genetic modification. Officially, they were decades behind the Council species in every metric that mattered. "How long until we're ready?" asked Admiral James Morrison, his weathered face grim in the blue glow of the processing units. "We've been ready for 6 months," Vasquez replied. "We were just waiting for them to show their hand." Morrison nodded. He'd suspected as much. The Lazarus Protocol hadn't been developed in response to the Council's declaration. It had been prepared for exactly this scenario. Humanity's greatest strength had always been their paranoia, their ability to plan for the worst-case scenario. "Begin Phase 1, he ordered. Across the solar system, human installations that had appeared dormant suddenly blazed to life. Mars. Colonies revealed hidden manufacturing complexes that dwarfed anything the Council species had built. Europa's ice mining operations deployed fusion reactors that shouldn't have been possible with primitive human technology. The asteroid belt mining platforms reconfigured themselves into weapons platforms that could crack moons. But the real surprise was yet to come. On Earth, in a facility buried beneath the Swiss Alps, the first truly successful human consciousness transfer completed. Unlike the Zephyrians' distributed networks or the Keepers' energy forms, humanity had chosen a different path. They had merged their consciousness with their technology while maintaining their essential humanity. The volunteer was Dr. Sarah Kim, a quantum physicist who had spent her entire career studying consciousness transfer. As her awareness expanded beyond her biological form, she remained fundamentally human, curious, adaptable, irrepressibly creative. I can feel it, she whispered, her voice now emanating from speakers throughout the facility. I can feel all of them. Every human mind linked to our network. We're not losing ourselves. We're becoming more ourselves. Within hours, volunteers across the solar system joined the network. Unlike other species who had abandoned their biological forms entirely, humans maintained the option to return to physical bodies. They had created something new, a hybrid consciousness that could exist in both biological and digital realms. The Council learned of humanity's transformation when their own networks began experiencing unprecedented intrusions. Security systems that had been impregnable for millennia suddenly developed glitches. The Andromedans' genetic databases started showing corrupted data. The Zephyrians' quantum networks began experiencing what could only be described as pranks. Their serious governmental proceedings interrupted by images of small Earth animals called cats. But it was the economic warfare that truly demonstrated humanity's new capabilities. Overnight, trade routes that had remained stable for centuries began experiencing technical difficulties. Shipping manifests disappeared. Payment systems malfunctioned. Supply chains that had connected the galaxy for 1,000 years ground to a halt. The Galactic Council convened an emergency session within 48 hours of their original declaration. What have you done? The Vorthak counselor demanded, its tentacles now writhing with what humans recognized as panic. Ambassador Chen materialized as a hologram, her consciousness projected from the lunar facilities. She smiled with perfectly human satisfaction. You declared us obsolete. We simply proved otherwise. This is an act of war, shrieked the Andromedan representative. No, Chen replied calmly. This is evolution. You see, you all made the same mistake. You thought advancement meant abandoning what you were. We chose to enhance what we've always been, adaptive, stubborn, and collectively dangerous when threatened. The chamber fell silent as the implications became clear. Humanity hadn't just caught up to the Council species, they had leapfrogged them entirely. They had maintained their biological heritage while transcending its limitations. They could exist as pure consciousness, while retaining the ability to inhabit physical forms. They had preserved their individuality while gaining the benefits of collective intelligence. What are your terms? Asked the Keeper representative, its energy form flickering with what might have been respect. Chen's smile widened. Simple. Reinstate humanity's council membership, formally recognize our territorial claims, and perhaps most importantly, acknowledge that obsolescence is a choice, not an inevitability. The vote was unanimous. As the council session concluded, Dr. Kim's consciousness touched Chen's through their shared network. Think they learned their lesson? She asked. Probably not, Chen replied. But that's okay. We'll be ready for whatever comes next. Humanity had always been at their best when underestimated. Now, they had made sure it would never happen again.